Welcome back to the Just Do You podcast. It has been a minute and a lot has happened in the last 3 to 4 months, which I'm super excited to catch you up on. But before I get started, as always, I want to just share something that I'm living at the moment that I think could be beneficial to you guys. I've spoken about it loads before, but I've literally just finished another fitness program with Dan Brady Coaching. I will put all the details in the show notes. You can go through my social media. I talk about it loads about my weight loss transformation from losing over 3 stone. And I'm actually the smallest I have been in probably like 10 or 11 years. And so all the stuff that I had saved to wear before I had Oscar is actually now too big for me, which is an awesome problem to have. But not only that, I have like a much better relationship with my body, with food. And for somebody that has suffered with eating disorders, this is massive for me. And I feel like I really understand nutrition now. I understand weight loss, and I feel like I have all the tools now moving forward to know what to do. I will definitely be doing the program again in October, and Dan usually gives me a discount code, so I'll let you know if there's one available. But if you have any questions, if you're not sure, then have a look at his page, reach out to me, reach out to him, however you want to do it. And I want to just note that I believe that you can be confident and happy, whatever shape or size that you are. I just knew that I wasn't being the best version of myself. I wasn't the healthiest version of myself. And what I really realized is like how you do one thing is how you do all things. And I kept putting my health and my fitness in this like future state of when I am rich and I have more time, more freedom, more money, I will be able to pay somebody and then I'll have the time and I'll have the energy to look after my body. When in reality, what actually happened was the minute I started taking care of myself more and taking my health and wellness seriously is when other things in my life started happening, other positive things, because it was almost like the domino effect. And I really realized that these things aren't separate. Like our relationships with money is the same as our relationships with our friends and our family and our partners. And how we show up for our business is how we show up for our health. It's how we show up for our friends. Like can't like put them into these different compartments of, oh, I'll just focus on this one first and then I'll focus on this. And then when I have money, then I'll be a better friend. Like those, I feel like you can show up in all areas as the best version of you. So it's taught me a lot of lessons, not just with health and fitness. But if you feel like you want me to go into more detail around that, you want a podcast around the whole like weight loss journey, because not only did I do the calorie thing and, the steps, I didn't work out. Maybe I'll do it next time. I also did quite a lot of inner work around my relationship with food, my relationship with myself, my body, and my limiting beliefs around what I believe is possible for me as a mum postpartum and how much weight I could lose and how I could look postpartum. I guess let's get started. I have been super nervous to do this podcast because I have been debating about how much I share, how honest I get, and I want to just make sure that it's actually beneficial for you guys and that you actually are able to take something away from it and implement it into your own life so you don't have to go through the mistakes that I've made. Some of it's going to be quite vulnerable, so we'll see how much I decide to keep in after I've recorded it and then go to edit. So, as you guys know, for the last 7 or 8 years, I have been self-employed. I was working full-time in a travel company. I'd fallen into the travel industry. My mum had got me a job, and then I just kind of stayed in the industry. And then you know how it is once you have experience in something, that is kind of like the industry that you stay in because you have experience in it. And I hadn't ever really thought about what is it that I actually want? Like, what do I want to do? I didn't have a particular skill or a passion. So I really didn't have any direction for where I wanted to go in my career. And I genuinely believed that everybody hated their job. I thought that was like a fact. Like everybody goes to their 9 to 5, they hate their 9 to 5, but their 9 to 5 pays for nice holidays and they can do nice things for the weekend and they can go shopping and that kind of stuff. So I thought it was normal to be unhappy every single day. And it's not that I was in necessarily like bad jobs. Some of my bosses were the nicest people and some of my colleagues were so much fun and I loved them. But I just really struggle with the whole, like, you have to be in at 9, you have to be gone by 5, but then you have to work through your lunch break, you have to work long hours, work at the weekends if you want to be seen as like putting your all in and to be like worthy, I guess. And I was always using that kind of like hustle of like, look how hard I'm working, look how burnt out I am, as like a way to be like, oh, I am worthy, or oh, I am important, or whatever it might be. I was in a 9 to 5, and then I had this moment of like, I want more. Like there has to be more than just like working 9 to 5 until I retire. I think there was a point in my job where I'd like asked my boss if I could have some more holiday, and he was like, well, no, because you haven't got any more. And I was like, I'll take it unpaid. And he was like, no, you can't. Like that's not how it works. And I was like, oh shit, like, is this my life? And I just had this like deep down knowing that I was meant for something more, but also like life is so short. Am I really going to spend it doing something I don't enjoy, missing out on opportunities because I don't have any holiday left? So I knew that I was looking for something else, and I started my own business mainly because I'd had a conversation with a friend and I was like, right, I want to be rich, I want to have money, I want abundance, I want wealth, I want this kind of lifestyle. What do I do? And he was like, start your own business. Like that's the only way you're going to have like what you're looking for, basically, with time freedom and financial freedom. He's like, you need to be your own boss. And I was like, okay, cool, I can do that. And so I just started like a random print business. There really wasn't much thought process into it. It did do quite well. I managed to get like my prints on the high street, and it was all right, but I wasn't passionate about it, and I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. And I was like, okay, right, this isn't the thing. So I was really open to something else. And then I was approached about network marketing. And I've spoken about this loads. I think I have like a whole episode on the whole network marketing process. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the company, the products, but mainly like the freedom and the uncapped earning potential. And what I love about the industry is that somebody has created the company. So they do all the back end, they do the accounting, they do the systems, they create the products, they do the shipping, like they put the money in your bank. So like the whole business is actually set up for you. All you have to do is like run your own business. So you still get to be your own boss, but with all the perks of having somebody do all the heavy lifting for you as such, and all the back end stuff that I really am just not great at. And so I had an amazing experience with network marketing, had a lot of success, gone on trips, absolutely love it. And then had Oscar, and I just like lost my way a little bit. I think I forgot what I was doing, how I was doing the business. I had like a little bit of a falling out with some of my business partners, and it really affected my confidence. And I was like, wait, do I know what I'm doing? All this imposter syndrome, all this doubt just started to creep in. And I was like, am I good enough? Am I a good person? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right lane? Like, who am I to show up and be a leader? And just start like all these doubts that I think were always there, like bubbling underneath. It was just this kind of like tipping point of like having this fallout with these people that just made me crumble. And I am a bit like that as a person. Like I can be doing really well, and then somebody will like call me out and be like, you're not a very nice person. And I'm like, wait, oh my God, am I not? And then I snap. And that is a lot of like imposter syndrome and doubt and self-worth that I've been working on. And so that really affected my business. So of course my business took a nosedive because I just stopped showing up. I started making excuses. I started saying that I was stuck. I was saying that nobody's buying, that the market is saturated. And I started like feeding into all those beliefs that I know are not true. I was literally just self-sabotaging because I was in this space of I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't get to be a leader. I can't lead other people. So then I fell into having the cleaning business, which you guys know about. I did a whole episode on this as well, about starting the cleaning business, all that kind of stuff. And it was super successful very, very quickly. Now, I am an absolute clean freak. And so I found that this was well within my wheelhouse, within my skill set. And oh, and it got very busy very quickly. I hired staff very quickly. Now, again, it wasn't something that I was passionate about. I was doing it as a means to an end. I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. And then having staff was just so difficult. And for anyone that has businesses and has staff, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. And as successful as the business looks on the outside and on paper, and technically very successful, I could not handle the pressure or the stress of having staff call in sick or not turn up or be late or getting complaints from clients. And I was like, you know what? Like, this isn't serving anyone. It's not serving my staff. It's not serving me, and it's not serving the clients. So I was really open to something else. And I just wasn't in a very good headspace, to be honest with you. I lost my sparkle, felt like I didn't know what I was doing, felt so lost, but then felt stuck in this cleaning business because I had created something that I needed, and I had to keep showing up for everybody, showing up to pay my bills. I'd stepped so far back from New Skin that yes, it was still paying me 5 times a month, but it obviously wasn't enough or what I needed to cover my half of the bills. So I was like, right, I'm open, and kind of had this moment to the universe of like, I surrender and I'm open to something new. And I started journaling again and started like getting back in touch with my mindset stuff. Everything that I preach about doing mindset, I wasn't doing. And so the minute I kind of started doing that stuff again, I was actually approached by a couple to work on their startup with them. Now, at first, I was really honest and I was like, look, I have been an entrepreneur for a really long time. I don't know that I'm going to be able to commit to like working for you guys basically like a 9 to 5. Now, the job role was very flexible. It was business manager, and it meant having a bit more autonomy, having more say in the company. And they were a startup. So essentially, all the exciting things that you get with a startup, they're very, very successful people. And the business model was something that I was really interested in. So it was like, well, it is a mixture of like eBay and Vinted. So you can buy and sell your stuff on there, but they also have their own range of very cool, very like retro vintage stock, like really awesome sportswear and like old school Nike and Reebok and all that stuff. And so that element, because I love fashion, I was like, that element really spoke to me. And I was like, yes, I can really get on board with that. They wanted help with some social media. And I was like, I have a little bit of experience, so maybe I can help you there. But also just like the whole organizing and getting things off the ground and the like operations side, like I'm really good at all that like organizing and stuff. So I was really, really excited. I loved the people and they really sold it to me. And I really do believe this, like when you're looking at things like this, for me, a lot of the time, like I'm bought in by the people. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? This is what I've been asking for. It's a bit of stability. The the idea was that I would start them on like a 3 to 4 month basis, see how I got on, and then we would go from there as to whether we continued working together. And they were really open to me keeping the cleaning business and obviously still having New Skin because they themselves have multiple businesses, multiple avenues of income, both been very successful in their line of work. So they were like, you can absolutely keep them going. Now, after literally a couple of days of starting this new role and still having the cleaning company and still having New Skin, I was straight away having issues with the cleaning company and with staff reliability and just trying to like cover everything. It just wasn't possible. I was like, I can't be in this job 9 to 5 giving it my all and also at the same time trying to still run the business. So I made the decision to close the business down literally within like 3 or 4 days. Now, this is, I think, one of the good things about me is that I'm willing to take a risk and I'm willing to try things and let it fail and put my hands up and say when I'm done and walk away much quicker than I probably ever would have done before. There would have been times previously where I would have stayed in places where I was uncomfortable because I felt like I had to. So from the outside looking in, it might seem like a crazy move. Like I've only really just met these people. Louis was working with them for a while. So, you know, he kind of vouched for them that they obviously pay on time, that they're good people, they've got a cool business, all stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, like I know, like I'm getting so much better at listening to my intuition, listening to like my gut instinct of like what is the best next step. And I just knew that I need to let go of the cleaning company. And this job allowed me to do that because it gave me the security and the freedom and the space to do that. So I feel like I really did manifest this opportunity because the timing was just absolutely perfect. And like the minute I started to let go of clients and I obviously let the staff know and everybody was fine. They already had like other jobs lined up and stuff like, so it was just perfect timing because I knew some of the girls, they also weren't happy, right? They can feel that from me. I wasn't being the best boss to them. I wasn't being the best leader. And so everybody was like so happy with it. We all ended it amicably. Like I wish the girls best. I gave them all the clients that I could. And it was just such a nice transition actually to be able to end it that way. And I think from the outside, like it does seem crazy to like let go of like a really successful business. And I definitely could have scaled it and it could have been something huge and I could see that for the business, but I just knew it didn't feel right for me. And I was like, you know what, like that is just not my path and that's okay. And I would rather just call it quits here than continue down this path that isn't the right path for me. And I think a lot of us do that because logically it makes sense or because everybody around you says that's the best way or it feels like the safest path. But actually, it's not the safest path because I was so unhappy. So, how is that the best path for me? Like, life is so short. Why am I again falling into this trap of doing something I don't enjoy day in, day out, crying most days because of the stress? I might as well just work a 9 to 5, which I technically did do with the startup, right? So I was back in like an office environment. It was in their home, working Monday to Friday, Sundays from home with the the idea that it could end up being something more if I wanted it to be, you know, if they wanted me to stay with the company over the next 3 to 4 months. Now, I learned a lot of lessons in this period. I know I've been really cagey and like mysterious about it on socials, but that's because I didn't want to say too much until I knew what it was going to be and what it meant and if it was going to work out. And I'm very, very conscious about recommending things and talking about things unless I'm 1,000% sold on it, because I don't want to say to you, yep, go and shop with this brand, go and do this thing, like look at this amazing company if I'm not yet behind it. But also from like a manifestation point of view, I don't like to talk about my goals and my things too much until I've achieved them, because what I don't want is unwarranted advice or feedback, when the best thing for me a lot of the time is for me to go and do the thing, have my experience, have my understanding of it, then I will talk about it after the fact that this is what I did. And that's what I'm doing now, right? So I worked for the company for like 4 months, had my experience, and now I'm here ready to talk about it. But if I was in the midst of it, I would have had a lot of like feedback from people and a lot of like advice and comments from people. And that can really confuse my decision. And that can make it harder for me to listen to my intuition, because I've got so much noise from everybody else. And so for me, a lot of the time, if I have a goal, I will often keep it to me and maybe to a handful of people who I know are on board with my goal. But what I can't have is somebody who is not on board with it, or who is saying to my face, oh yeah, that sounds nice. But then behind me, they're like, she's not going to do that. There's no fucking way that she can make that kind of money, or whatever it might be, because those opinions and those thoughts and those expectations, they do get attached to your goals. And I did a really cool training for the team on this, about how other people's expectations actually changes your behavior. So if you want me to do a podcast on that, I absolutely can. And I can do like a YouTube with it so you can see the science behind that, basically. So I like to come and share with you after the fact. And so I actually have left that project now, and I am back like full-time self-employed, unemployed, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, because I did take a lot from the process. I learned so much. Like, the guys are super successful who are running the company, and they taught me a lot, and they really, really pushed me out my comfort zone, pushed me to grow. I did like business presentations, social media presentations. I implemented a lot of stuff that I'm super proud of, that I know really, really helped the company. I put my heart and soul into it for those 3 to 4 months. It just wasn't for me. And Louis actually came on board with the company too, and he also decided at the end of it that it also wasn't for him. For me, it just felt too much like a 9 to 5. I felt like constricted by those hours, by the Monday to Friday. I then ended up working weekends and evenings and bank holidays, and I realized, and what I love about this experience is that it gives you polarity. Like, once you know what you don't want, it gives you more clarity on what you do want. I know now, like deep within my bones, that I am not made to work for somebody else, that I am not cut out for the 9 to 5. I'm not very good at being told, like, you have to be here at this time, you can't leave till this time. The expectation of needing to work my lunch break and work evenings in order to prove my worth. Now, that is a me problem. But it is also like a corporate problem, right? It is something that is expected of employees, that you go above and beyond, which I find really interesting, because if you don't own the company, or you don't have shares in the company, or why would you? Like, what is the incentive for you to go above and beyond, unless you are incentivized in some way, or you have bonuses or something like that? But it was really interesting. Like, if I'm gonna put blood, sweat, and tears into something, I want to know that it's mine at the end of the day. And that literally is just, maybe that's just a me thing, and maybe that's an entrepreneur thing. Like, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I really, really missed and was really craving freedom. I wanted to be able to take Oscar swimming if I want to take him swimming on Thursdays. I wanted to be able to go to the doctors when I need to go to the doctors, whatever it might be. It was simply the freedom element of, well, if I want to work at night, I can work at night and I could do something in the day. Or I don't mind working the weekend because I've decided to take Monday off. Whatever it might be, it is that freedom to choose. Now, I'm going on holiday next week, and there's a high chance that I'll do some work. I honestly don't care, because I'm super excited. I'm super passionate about the things that I'm working on now. So since leaving this project and this startup, things did end amicably to begin with. There's a little bit of friction now. I don't know what that's going to look like long term. It is what it is. I learned a lot of lessons and really, really pushed myself out my comfort zone. And it's all things that I needed to learn. Just like I said with polarity, like we can't expect to have these huge highs without experiencing some lows. We can't expect things to be good all the time without things sometimes being difficult or uncomfortable. And it's really taught me that just because something's uncomfortable doesn't mean it's a negative. And often it's pushing you to be the person you need to be in order to have the thing you say you want to have. So I left this project, both me and Louis left. So you're thinking about this is our full-time income. We've both chosen to leave at the same time and pretty immediately. So Louis back freelancing with his photography business, and I'm back doing Nu Skin full time. And I've got another project possibly on the side because I just can't help myself. And I've got some really exciting stuff planned with Nu Skin and with my network marketing business because I realized just how special the industry is, especially with Nu Skin. I don't know that I would be doing network marketing if it wasn't Nu Skin. I, like if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with Nu Skin. You're not going to catch me moving companies. And I love the industry because it has continued to pay me 5 times a month. It has. And I'm so unbelievably grateful for that because it means I'm not just coming back to no income whatsoever, right? And it means I have a business to come back to because of the foundations that I've put into my business over the last 7 years. But I don't necessarily love how a lot of people behave in the industry. I think that it can be so much better than it is. I think it can be like explained better. I think can be more professional. Like I don't agree with all this like cold DMing and like being in someone's inbox and being like annoying and shit. Like I really believe that if we can just show up and show the best parts of the company and working with us, then that should be enough. And if you want to work with me, great. And if you don't, it's all good. So I've got something really exciting in the pipelines with my Nu Skin business, which I think is really, really going to elevate it. And it's got me super excited again. It's got me passionate again because I knew I wanted to stay with Nu Skin and want to stay with the industry. I just knew I wanted to do it in my own way and put my own twist on it. And now that I feel like I have that confidence because of what I've been through, like not even just the last 4 months, but the last 2 years, like as difficult as it has been in moments, it's what I needed to go through. I truly, genuinely believe like all of these hard moments, all of these difficulties, all this feeling stuck and everything and the self-sabotage is exactly what I needed to go through to become the person I need to be today. And I feel like I finally have my spark back. I feel like me again. I feel like I know what my purpose is. I just feel like these last 4 months have been a massive wake-up call of the universe being like, look, we can give you opportunities to make money. We can give you these things and you can try these things, but you are not built for it. Like you are meant to be doing something else. You're meant to be doing something more and you get to do something for yourself. And yes, it feels scary. And yes, it might not work out and I might fail again, but at least I tried. I don't think that I can go through life not trying. Who cares if it doesn't work out? I've tried loads of businesses and they haven't worked out. I had a crystal business, I had a print business, I then had a print business again with affirmations. I have tried the 9 to 5, multiple 9 to 5s. I've moved country for one of my 9 to 5s. So I moved to Cape Town and back. Like, who cares if it doesn't work out? Who cares if I try Nu Skin again and it doesn't work out? Like, at least I can say I gave it my all and I did something that lights me the fuck up and makes me happy. And right now, that's all that really matters to me is doing something I love because I don't understand why would I do anything else. And I already, like I'm on day 3 of being back, self-employed, unemployed, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I feel like I can breathe again. I feel like I've just like relaxed. I feel so much happier, so much more at peace. And I just know that there is something magical around the corner. I just have to go for it. And there are going to be moments of doubt and imposter syndrome. And there are going to be people that don't believe in me. And I'm sure there'll be people that voice their opinions that they don't believe in me or don't believe in what I'm doing or anything like that. But it really doesn't matter because I'm doing this for me, not for anybody else. Life is so short. Like, why wouldn't you go after everything you've ever dreamed of? And like one of the big things, like when I'm talking to people, is like dream bigger. Just dream a little bit bigger. And people will say things like, I just want to be comfortable. I just want this. Like, I don't want much from life. Like, why not? Why not? I mean, it's fine if that's genuine and that's true and you're like, cool, that's all I want. That's fine. But if you were to like genuinely like close your eyes and if I gave you like £3 million and I said like you can do whatever you want with this money, what are you actually doing with that money? Like, genuinely, maybe you want to pay off your mum's mortgage. Maybe you want to take your whole family and your cousins and your siblings to Disneyland for a week. Maybe you want to buy your dream car or your dream house or pay off your own mortgage. You don't have to worry about paying bills ever again. Maybe you want to travel the world first class. Maybe you want to help charities or open a dog sanctuary in Spain. Like, if you were to genuinely ask yourself and allow yourself to dream a little bit bigger, what is it that you actually want? Because we only get to do this thing once. It's like an absolute miracle that we're even alive at this time, and we don't know how long we have to live this life. So, like, why wouldn't you dream big? Why wouldn't you go after everything you've ever wanted? Like, what is the saying? Like, shoot for the moon and you land them on the stars or something. Like, just dream bigger. Who cares if you don't hit that huge, big goal? You're going to hit something so much higher than you thought even possible for yourself. Nobody was stamped when they were born of like, yeah, you're going to be a millionaire. You're not worthy. You're going to have loads of money and you're going to really struggle. Like, we get to decide. We have more control than we think. And just by like having that clarity of, okay, I get to decide, I get to be in control of my life, not these other people, not outside circumstances. Even that just makes you feel so much better knowing that you get to decide. So yeah, dream a little bit bigger, go for anything that you want, and don't stay somewhere too long where you're unhappy, because life is so short. Like, why wouldn't we do everything within our power to have the best time possible while we're here? So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps, and my plan is to be way more consistent with the podcast because I absolutely fucking love it. So I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.